Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how I made this DIY Trolls Poppy costume. The steps are easy to follow and it shouldn't take you more than a few hours to do. And if you like DIYs, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for future videos to come. The materials you'll need to make this costume are a dress that is the similar shape of the Poppy costume dress, a pencil, dark blue fabric, I got 3 yards of that, a lighter blue fabric for the detailing on the dress, I got a yard of that, green fabric for the leaves and the headband, I got a yard of that as well, some measuring tape so you know what you need, scissors, hot glue or fabric glue, or you can do needle and thread, white puffy paint for the detailing on the dress, some tulle. You will need some elastic to attach the tulle to, but I ran out, and a dark pink hairspray so that you can get your tulle the color of Poppy's hair, or if you can find a darker pink tulle, that'd be great too. So those are the only things I used during this project, and we'll get into it. The first thing you're going to do is fold your fabric in half. Take your similar shaped dress and lay it on top of your fabric. Trace the dress, and when you are finished, you will cut out what you just traced. Remember, take your time to do this. This is just me cutting out the dress, and I wanted to remind you all to take your time when you're cutting so you don't mess up your fabric. This is a sped up clip of me cutting. This is really not my actual cutting speed. It probably took me a solid 2 or 3 minutes to cut this one side of the dress. Next, you're going to repeat the process for tracing and cutting the dress, but this time make a rounded top over the shoulder. So the piece you just cut is the back side of the dress, and remember, the rounded part goes over the left shoulder. The next thing you're going to do is pin your fabric in place so that you can get ready to either sew it or glue it down, but just so that it's not moving all over the place while you're working. My original plan was to sew this with a needle and thread, but I opted for fabric glue instead. So I didn't speed this up because I wanted to show you all where I made the mistake. You're going to be gluing along the edges of your dress, but be sure to leave an opening for the armholes. I noticed after already gluing one side down and starting to glue the other side that I did not leave an opening, so I ended up having to clean that up later. So just don't make my mistake. Oh no. I just glued a part that I wasn't supposed to glue. So to fix that glue mistake, I just cleaned it up with a wet paper towel on both sides. The next thing you're going to want to do is cut up some light blue fabric for the details of your dress. Cut enough for the back and the front, although I only used it for the front. Next, you're going to want to measure out some curvy lines to go at the bottom of your dress. I used this cup, but it ended up not working, so I decided to just freehand it, and that was much better. I went to Houston and cut out a lot of the details in the car, so I don't have footage of that. So next you'll want to lay out your detail pieces that you've cut out of the light blue fabric and either glue them down or sew them down. I decided that I was going to continue to glue my pieces down as opposed to sewing them, but if you do decide to do that, make sure that you have a layer in between the front and back of your dress so that the glue doesn't seep through and your dress is now stuck together. I also only glued along the edges because the glue dries and it kind of leaves like a little mark. So I glued only along the edges to not, one, waste glue, and two, leave marks everywhere all over the light blue fabric. The next thing I did was use my white puffy paint to go along the edges of those details that I had just glued on. It covered the glue and it added a bit more detail to the petals and the swirly edge at the bottom of the dress. I cut these petals and leaves for the headband. There's 3 petals and 3 leaves for each flower. Glue your leaves to the back of your flowers. The next thing I did was cut up my green fabric into a skinny strip that I could use for the headband. I made sure there was a towel underneath so that I didn't get glue all over the table. And I'm just going to glue both edges to the middle of the green fabric. After gluing one side, I decided that I needed to function and I went and made myself a cup of coffee. Make sure that you actually glue on the edges and not just in the middle of the fabric, otherwise it might unravel when you attach it to the hair of your costume. Next, I am just placing my flowers where I want them, and I'm going to just glue them on the back side of the leaves. So next I'm just spraying some temporary hair color over an old tutu that I had already made. If you want a tutorial on how to make a tutu, I can do that for you. Just let me know in the comments below. So next I am just taking the hot glue gun instead of the fabric glue just for a little bit more reinforcement, and I am going to use the hot glue gun to glue on the fabric that I used to make the headband onto the tulle and the elastic to wrap around her head. So Adeline is living her best life in her Trolls Poppy costume. Remember guys, don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.